How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Fourever Arsenal podcast. Yes, we are still waiting for Liverpool game to finish before doing the podcast. Why? I'm not too sure. We've done it at a time when we was in somewhat of a title race. But now, if you ask us why we're still, there is no answer, people. I know it should have come out Sunday, early doors, but...
So we could have recorded this hours ago.
I mean, certain people were hanging, certain people were out, certain people that wasn't in the right frame of mind. So I'll leave that to the community to decide.
Some of us are all three.
There you go. You go. So.
Do you know what I will say though? At a moment today, how bad are Tottenham and Man United?
I know.
And actually, I know Chelsea are in the hunt for top four, so they kind of get like a bit of a.
No, I enjoyed that as well.
But. And you know what? I'm not doing a trolling thing, trying to wind up opposition fans. I think you just think about how bad our campaign has been for the standards and everything we hope. I mean, those lot we've almost taken the attention from them. That is a disgraceful Premier League campaigns they've put up. Yeah. Disgraceful, and a bit like with us, if one of Tottenham or Chelsea win, one or Tottenham Man United win this European competition, Europa League. Actually weirdly becomes a successful season, but oh my god, so I have kind of enjoyed them continuing to be a bit shit, a little bit.
They've been shocking Spurs, haven't they? Come on,
if
they go out on Thursday, he's gone, isn't
he? Yeah. That's the last.
He'll be gone by the weekend.
Do you think he should have gone before?
No, I hope he gets a new contract. No, I don't think he should, because they've got a chance of winning this trophy, innit? You know what I mean? And that gets them Champions League football. His format, by the way, was to get Champions League football. Don't see how to get it, is it? Like, by winning the Europa League, he would get Champions League football. Plus, he'd also get him a trophy.
Something tells me he's not a bad manager. I don't know what it is, but with every passing week, I think has been tested.
He's too wild. I don't watch Tottenham like that, but anytime I see him or them, it's just wild. Like it'd be entertaining if it works, terrible if it doesn't. So open, loose, very loose style of play. Like it's just. And Man United, oh my god, keeper to keeper, manager to manager, player to player, it just doesn't get any better. And Chelsea,
Man United got to get 10 new players in the summer.
Well, minimum is what they need to do.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I'll tell you what. Would you take any Man United? I wouldn't take one Man United player to come to Arsenal. I wouldn't take one Tottenham player. And I'll tell you what, Tottenham. If you put Tottenham and Man United together, you still wouldn't make a decent team.
No, you wouldn't.
Unpopular opinion. I think there's some good players in these teams.
Maybe.
Tottenham, yeah, not United.
Mainu, I'd have at Arsenal.
Yeah, I'll take Mainu.
Yeah, he does need to come back and start performing better. But
would you take Bruno Fernandes? That is something that was kind of doing the rounds a little bit on X. And do you know what? Let me just say, I've never been a fan of this guy, but he's impressed me this season. I think this season he's been very, very good. Not just output. I think his overall play has actually been a lot more refined. And actually, he's that kind of final third output player. Is that a player you guys would take from United?
Do you know what? Out of all of them, he's probably the one that I would, because Odegaard's form has been shocking. That probably why you would go down that route, but I wouldn't go down it.
Amad Diallo is their best player, really. But because we've got Saka and Ethan there, it's like the only position. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Good.
Sorry. I was going off on a tangent. Carry on.
Well, I mean, it shows what the Brentford game was about. Yeah. We drew 1-1. One of us got a correct score. One of us got a correct result. And the two in the relegation battle got nothing. So it's kind of a similar story for it. Yeah, we both predicted Arsenal wins.
Who got it right?
Jordan,
you went 1-1.
Was it me?
Yeah.
Look at sick.
Oh, fine. He's happy. He's happy. We've drawn 1-1 at Brentford. He's happy.
Oh, I'm happy now.
You didn't know?
I forgot.
Okay.
Oh, that's so annoying.
Oh, mate, sick.
I was happy. I thought you went for a win. I was happy. I just put a point on the board. Well, I am now. I'm even more happy because otherwise it could have been worse.
You're good. You still got a nice cushion. 3 games.
James.
2-2.
Yeah, 2-2.
Mm.
3-game swing with what about another leg against Real to play, 2 semi-finals. That's 3 and 6 league games. That's 9. 9 games to go minimum.
All right. Well,
Well, still lots to play for then.
holding my lead. Looking forward to it.
We'll see. We'll see. Brentford, where do we begin?
Well, I mean, pick the highlight you want to talk about. I mean, there's also that bit, and then I really like when that happened. Second half, that was good. Yeah, just unbelievable. I've watched it back 3 times. Yeah.
Well done. I've not watched it back once.
Yeah.
Biggest
Did you believe me there, Lee?
The biggest disappointment for me, because really the result and everything like that, we all predicted it could be. It's just sloppy defending again for the goal. I can't believe how poor we was defending that goal. It is for all the possession that we have. It must be 80. We must be on the bordering on 75 to 70% possession in every home game, and we're conceding goals in 30% possession. Far too much, boys. Far too much. And it was just an awful goal. Awful goal. Arteta was doing his nut, but listen, I know that players are not perhaps as focused as they should be, and I get that the fans weren't focused because of it's all on Wednesday, and I've got no problem with that. But what can I say? The manager's being slated off with substitutions.
They need to be sharp. They need to be ready. Yeah. I said this before the game. Like, how can this not? It's given us. Okay, there's a lot that will say, Turkish, I believed already. Okay, cool. But fans like me, they've given a new lease of life with that first leg result. But players like the ones that played against Brentford, the ones that don't get as many minutes as they maybe would like, for them, that should be the time to, make yourself available in for that Champions League semi-first leg or Real's second leg, 10 minutes to go. We need something. Make yourselves available. Like, yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not going to focus too much on it. Like I said on my fan cam, and I've done a video on my channel since it's on to Madrid. I'm going there in a few hours, less than 8 hours, driving over. That's on what I'm focusing on. But it would have been nice because Declan Rice had some special moments in that game, right?
Yeah.
But we was also about 10 minutes away from me asking what's the plan B here, because it's 0-0 at home. Now, obviously, it wasn't the case, but if we ever need a plan B moving forward, it'd be nice if a few of these players in these league games, when they're being given chances, like a Trossard, for example, to stand up and make me say with 10, if backs are against the wall or something, I'll bring him on. Sterling, even, he didn't get the chance, obviously, but he should have started, in my opinion. But I'm just talking in general about a few of the players that were given chances. It's like Tierney, when we see Tierney come on, at least with his crossing and his tenacity on the pitch, right? Yeah. We always kind of turn to him now. Whether we need an attacker because we say he can get, crosses into the box, or whether we need a defender, a proper left back. In the last couple of months, we've been looking at Tierney a lot. Why? Because he comes on, and when he's called upon, you see something. I haven't seen something from a few of these fringe players, and it would have been nice against Brentford to see that.
Would you like to know something?
What did I say that you got laughed at, though? Did I say something?
Golf.
No, I know exactly.
Yeah,
Lee just saw
can't believe what's just happened.
He just saw McElroy go into the bunker. That's what
he's only got to hit the green and he's won it, and he's gone into the bunker, and he's a hell of a shot now.
Turkish, I listened to you. I was listening to you.
I was listening.
How rude it is to watch golf instead of listening, because golf is shit. Golf is so boring, and they would rather watch that than listen to me. I get it. I'm boring too.
Yeah. It's not about you. It's about Arsenal Brentford. I tell you what I was doing. I was actually doing some number crunching. I just went through our fixtures in the Premier League.
That's even worse.
We have lost leads in, not worse, because it's going to be fucking helpful for the fucking podcast. Arsenal have had the lead in 8 games that they failed to win this season. 8 games. That that equates to 24 points. Now, I don't expect Arsenal to win every single game they lead in, but 8 is a significant amount. I'd love to see what previous champions have done. I might look into that. Not now, I can't be bothered, but another time.
That's
I mean,
poor.
that's
poor,
an extraordinary amount of points that have just been let slip. Brighton twice in recent weeks. I mean, people forget. People talk about Everton and Brentford being poor games. We led in both of them, having rotated. And by the way, might I say the referee having a shocker in both. Norgard should have been sent off, and it was a penalty. It wasn't a penalty on Lewis Skelly, but never mind. We praise our defense, which is, I believe it's brilliant. It's going to have to be brilliant on Wednesday night. But oh my word, I know you're smiling, Turkish, because they're just still watching.
Because now Jordan's watching something. He started laughing like I don't know what. I'll watch something as well. You know, we can.
He's just played a great shot out of the bunker like that. I mean,
Wait, you're muted. You're muted. He started laughing, James. Like he's watching. Like
he's muted because he's got the commentary on. He's got the Sky commentators on.
We should have done a watch along to the golf. That's what we should have done.
He can't be watching golf laughing like
No, I'm not watching the golf. I'm not watching the golf. Someone just sent me a meme that yeah, sorry.
He's texting.
He's texting, imagine.
He's not even watching sport. Oh no.
At least you listen to my bit. Fuck it.
I heard Turkish bit, yeah.
Got look, 24 points dropped from winning positions, man. That's I praise our defense. I'm gonna back him come Real Madrid, and we'll talk about Real Madrid in a sec. But that's really weird. Arsenal were known for being able to see it out, lots of clean sheets, things like that. And yeah, we've led in big games. We've led away at Brighton, we've led at home to Liverpool, we've led away at Chelsea. We've let all those slip. And you know what? Then there's other results that aren't great, but you know what? We were bad at Old Trafford, but at least it's a point. Well, you can kind of stomach those. But Villa 2-0 up. 2-2 in the end. You know, there's lots of those games. And
you know, when you worded that we let it slip, that wording, and I know you're not saying this, but that wording in general comes across like the defense hasn't held resolute or the defensive side of things. The reality is, it's the attack that has cost us in these games where
100%.
It might not be the 100% of the 8 games that you're talking about or whatever it is. But 8-9 times out of 10, we're looking at this season, that side of, and today on the radio on the way back, the Liverpool game, right at the end of it, the commentator was, or whoever it was talking about, you know, goals have won Liverpool this league this season, that, you know, and as you're talking there, I just want to you know, I know you agree, but I just want to tell the community who probably agree as well, because it's evident, because, you know, letting a lead slip, it usually entails the defense being looked at. But this season, best defensive record in the league, less conceded than last season.
I couldn't agree with you more. It's the attack has by far and away been the biggest problem, because the defense has still conceded the least in the league. So they do their job to a degree. And also, you can pick lots of those games. Liverpool, I can't be hard on the team. We were decimated at the back, came out with a 2-2. What was the other game I had in mind? Yeah, Everton, like I said, that wasn't a penalty. We probably did a professional job there in a lot of ways. But then you look at Villa at home, 2-0 up. The attack's done their job in that particular game, but not in others. So you're right, they're all going to be kind of unique circumstances. Yeah, look, I can't be on previews going, you know, all eyes on Madrid. You know, I guess I just want everyone fit and healthy. Just, you know, do your best, blah, blah. And then be overly annoyed when we don't beat Brentford. But I still, look at this guy. But I can tell what's going to happen now that he's reacted like that. But anyway,
he's got a delay on the golf. What a life!
What's wrong? What's wrong, Lee?
He's missed it.
Oh yeah, yes. Anyway, back to it. This is gonna be the worst pod of all time.
Yeah,
we miss leads. That's my point. We've thrown away too many leads this season, and the league campaign could be different. But injuries have decimated us, and I guess all eyes on Real Madrid. Can I ask you guys something though? How disappointed were you at full time when we didn't beat Brentford? How much was that like?
Very.
Fine.
I'm not happy with the general fan base consent. This whole all eyes on Wednesday. I don't think it's cool, guys. I don't think it's cool at all. I mean, we didn't play badly. We wasn't brilliant. And I think it's important to note that Brentford aren't, some small team. Brentford are a very, very good team, right? So we're not playing some crappy team. But I hate this whole looking ahead to the next game. I get it. The second leg is a very, very big game for Arsenal's season and a very big moment potentially in Arsenal's history. I understand that. But this whole focusing, no, it doesn't matter because we got bigger fish to fry, for want of a better phrase, on Wednesday. We'll accept it and just put and let it go. That's not cool to me. What about standards? What about treating every game as a game that Arsenal should be winning, especially at home? What about the fans that spend hundreds of pounds that go to that game expecting a performance? Okay, maybe not a result, but a better performance than that. I don't buy this whole, it's only the bigger ones on Wednesday, so this one gets a pass. No, and also I've seen that performance from Arsenal all season. So what was the excuse before Christmas when we saw that performance? What was the excuse last week before against Everton? I don't think we should just, as fans, we shouldn't be indulging in this whole, eyes are on Wednesday, so I'll give it a pass. No, we've got our standards. Next year, we're going for trying to win a Premier League next season. Yeah, you can't just throw points away just because the title's now gone. You don't get to just, it doesn't matter because we got Madrid. Madrid's a big game on Wednesday. It's not a Champions League final. It's not if it was Champions League final, then I might be more like, okay, fair enough. It's a second leg of a quarter final. It's a big game, but you don't get to just. I've just watched the Man United game earlier on, and I've just heard Bruno Fernandes and Ruben Amorim talking about Thursday. But focus on Thursday's game. You don't get to just throw games away because your league campaign is done. This is professional football. The key word there is, well, both words are key, but an important word there is professional. You've got to turn up and deliver. That doesn't mean you always win. You might not win, but you can't tell me that performance on the weekend was a team that was focused on trying to win 3 points. You might make a couple of changes. I get that your focus, you do have, to a degree, some focus on Wednesday's game, right? But it felt to me there was too much focus, and the fan base talk post game has all been, it's all right. We just move on. It's one of those games. No. I don't think it's acceptable. I think we can't let that pass.
It comes down. Sorry, I'm gonna bring it up. That comes down to the manager. He said it yesterday. I'm looking at it. You should. A lot of Arsenal fans should say, look, come on, Arsenal. You know what I mean? They should give us our money back for that game. And I'll tell you why, because we went 1-0 up in that game. He was just about to bring on 3 players, and he continued to do them. So it was all set to play certain minutes and all that. Why all those players coming on when he's just gone 1 goal up?
I wouldn't go as far as to say money back. I mean, it wasn't like an atrocious performance. I know what you mean. I get
that. That's a game that the club was a game that was in the way. It was they didn't want to play it. It was a training game post, pre Real Madrid. You know what I mean? Those substitutions, like against Everton, were calculated and didn't matter what the score was at Everton last week. They made the changes at 1-0. I don't think any changes deserve to be needed to be made if you're looking on the merit of the game. But he changed the whole 2 wide players and changed positions in that game. We end up from not losing the game, but losing the goal and not winning the game. Same thing on Saturday. We was 1-0 up when he made the substitutions, and it cost us. The fact of the matter is, he wants to give players certain minutes in certain parts of the game, and that's how
to be fair. To be fair, let's go the other way. Let's go to the extreme. Let's say that he plays Saliba, he plays a couple of the first teamers, and they get injured, right? We'd be here disappointed that Saliba is now out of the game on Wednesday. We'd be disappointed Saka's now, and the fan base would be panning Arteta. Why are you playing Saka? And he's now got. Why are you? They'd be piling in. I mean, my view is always that injuries happen in football. I personally hate this whole looking ahead culture. I understand, and in the context of our season, the Madrid second leg game is more important to many than Brentford at home in the league. I have a bit of sympathy with that school of thought. But for me, if you're a top club, the next game is always the most important one. And again, to reference Manchester United, their focus was clearly on their second against Lyon, because that's their season, right? So they're not going into a game off the back of a 4-1 loss. So you've kind of lost out both ways now, because you've lost a game in the immediate calendar, and now you're going into your so-called more important one off the back of a 4-1 defeat. We've now gone into Real Madrid with a draw. Now that might not kill our momentum too much, but I just don't like this whole looking ahead and giving passes because we've got Madrid on Wednesday. It's like no. People paid money. People paid money to go and see that game. They deserve to see a performance.
But we knew it was
I agree with you.
We knew it was going to happen. Come on, we knew that. I knew going to that game it was going to be like that. I got, listen, I don't mind losing or drawing as long as we win on Wednesday. If we don't win on Wednesday, that game then becomes a travesty. You know what I mean? You got to win that game or get the positive result now.
Do you know what? That game is us. That game is us. And to be honest with you, I'm trying to push this aside, especially with Champions League. But I get what Jordan's saying. It's not like I'm happy with it, but it's us. And I think the Champions League is a welcome change. I think 2 weeks ago, regardless, the most optimistic fan would have probably even had some doubts about this Real game. Now, 9 out of 10 of us are pretty much confident, going in with a spring in our step Wednesday. That doesn't excuse Brentford, but it doesn't excuse Brentford any differently to West Ham or Leicester needing Marino to come on, or Nottingham Forest at home, or Everton, or abundance of results over the season where it's us. That is us. Like, so for example, Real weekday, fingers crossed we get through. What do I think happens on the weekend? Who are we playing on the weekend?
Ipswich.
Where?
We've got Ipswich away, Crystal Palace at home, and then
we should be able to razzle dazzle a little bit against Ipswich, but even that it's a stretch. I'm not expecting no razzle dazzle. Maybe a few goals, but what I saw against Brentford, Jordan, I've said what I've said about the summer and January, and every performance like that, because there will be more, it's because of what we didn't do. So I've come to terms now. I've said it enough for my liking to be like, listen, Berta's in now, so it's come to a stage where league's gone. So these league results are more looking at Berta there. I'm looking at Arteta, and I've said I want to see some change tactically to loosen us up a little bit prior to next season. But cool, we haven't seen that. He hasn't done that. Not acceptable, but it kind of is when we've just beaten Real 3-0 because our eye naturally is on that. And even with that, and me, the most pessimistic of fans, I'm going in there not like a kid, but like I just excited. There's something there with this game, man. Like, and after what they did last week, I've got to applaud them because we are so close to something.
I hear you, and it's a special game as well. But just before Foley comes in, I just think from my point of view, it's about standards. And as I always do, I'm looking now to next year's Premier League campaign.
Not wrong.
And I think that if we have to, you can't, especially at home, you can't chuck away cheap points. And I think if we start allowing teams, we'll forgive it that one, we'll forgive that one. I've forgiven too many. You start going into a team that accepts second, accepts third. No, every single point, especially at home, it matters. But I understand that Wednesday is a special night for Arsenal season. I get that as well.
This campaign,
I agree with it, and I feel exactly the same today as I felt against Everton coming out of Everton's ground. Felt cheated. Felt like not just with the performance, but the referee and everything like that. Very, very down. After Tuesday night, did I even think about Everton once? No. And that's what will happen on Wednesday. If Arsenal get the result, this is irrelevant. It's irrelevant. Because at the end of the day now, the biggest picture is Arsenal Football Club trying to win the Champions League and trying to win a trophy. And I'm sorry, it doesn't matter what you do in the next 4, 5, 6 league games. It does not bear any fruit on what we do in the Champions League now. It's about Wednesday night. You're semi-final.
You're right, Lee. You're right. I just think for the league's gone. But I just think us not finishing the league season with a bit of respectability, I just think that for me, I know some fans don't care. Finish 5 points behind, 20 points behind, doesn't matter. But for me, it does matter.
Jordan, I get it. But when Chelsea won the league, do you know where they come? When Liverpool won it in 2005, do you know where they come?
You better win it. You better win the European Cup.
That's the thing you're putting on it. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. You know what I mean? But no one really cares. You know what I mean? It's just about one thing now. Like, you know, as you say, they've got Ipswich away. I'm going to that game. Am I that bothered about that game? No. We've got Crystal Palace in the week on the Wednesday. No. Then we've got a weekend off, thank God. You know what I mean? And then, like, if we have got past Real Madrid, we've got the Tuesday or the Wednesday we play that. So we're in a perfect situation going into that first leg of the semi-final, but we ain't got a game at the weekend. So the footballing gods are a little bit on us, a little bit. So this is it. You've got to take advantage of it. I'd rather lose every single game. If you said to me now we're going to lose every single game in the league, we're going to win a Champions League, I'm buying your hand off for it. That's how it is now. And I know Arsenal haven't been good enough this season. We know that. And probably we're putting our head in the sands a little bit because of it. But, you know, we know we've not been good enough. We know we've not been good enough. The league don't say we're like 12 draws. That shows you something not quite right. You know, that 12 draws, by the way, will probably get you Champions League football, but it don't get you the title.
James, you wanted to say something, I think.
Can't remember. Yeah, I mean, we'll know once our Champions League. Go on.
Like the thing is, this can be an unforgettable season, or it can be a very poor season.
Yeah.
That's where we're at now, and that's what a trophy does, and that's what the Champions League, especially. Like the Premier League for me is always the bread and butter, and that's the baby. That's the one that proves you're the best in the country. I think the Champions League is a bit different. I don't think it proves you're the best in Europe, but you won the European competition. But yeah, it'd be unforgettable, and none of this would really matter. None of our gripes and the summer window previously would matter to the fans, because that would be pushed to the back of the mind, even though they'd still have work to do, regardless of us winning something or not. But yeah, I get what Jordan's saying.
There are similarities between this season and the previous ones, even though the league title, the title race has been so shambolic. In that, actually, with a month or two to go, there's one competition that all our kind of hopes are on. Only we're used to it being a week in, week out thing in the league. Now it's such a case where the league's taking a sidestep, which is having to get through, which I agree with Jordan isn't really acceptable. That's just what we're doing, though. And all eyes are kind of on this other big one. Arsenal, Arteta, Berta, whoever is bloody involved in this in the summer, they have to be so unbelievably ruthless about this squad, because really we should be able to rotate for Everton away and Brentford at home and expect 6 points.
Yes.
That is the level the squad should be at. I hear it, injuries. But actually, a lot of those players are back now. The key ones are Gabriel, Havertz and Jesus, unless I'm missing anyone. Calafiori about to come back. I don't think Arsenal should be in a position where we're putting out 11s that we're going, oh, Tierney left wing and Marino up front and Sterling on the right. Or don't really know about that. Again, like I said, injuries have played a part, sure. Actually, Marino's done all right up front. But it is going to be about the squad as well. And we need to start competing on all fronts again. We haven't, under Mikel Arteta, we really haven't been able to kind of have more than one competition be our focus. Or where all that kind of best work has been done. It's always been kind of one area and then everything else. I won't really hear it on the Carabao Cup this season. We had an easy draw till we played Newcastle and we were completely blown away. We weren't remotely competitive. So everyone listening, please don't take this as I'm being super ultra critical of Brentford. I'm just talking, in the sense that we're kind of all stomaching this now because of Real Madrid lingering. But it really is kind of on a knife edge, because if we don't, I don't even know what I mean. Is it just not beating Madrid, or is it not winning the whole thing? I don't know. But there's basically a threshold we've got to get to. And it probably is winning the whole thing, winning the whole tournament, before we actually look back and go, what an absolute shambles. And I know we're second. Everyone else has been even worse, except for Forest, who weren't expected to be there. So, yeah, it is a little bit of a weird position to be in. But we are 3-0 up.
Yeah.
We are 3-0 up. So,
but obviously off the back of the Brentford stuff, Arteta said Partey and Jorginho, I think it was, have picked up knocks or something.
Both went off injured, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Partey looked like he had some shin pad problem more than anything, but Jorginho, he had a rib issue, innit? He couldn't breathe or something. You can kind of tell.
If you've had one of them, you ain't coming back on Wednesday night. You won't. That's a painful one. That is. You won't be able to breathe for a week properly.
I can't breathe right now, and it's hay fever. But
so without both of those, what do you do?
We're talking men here, James. You know what I mean? Proper men are.
You don't get hay fever.
I do, but I'll get on with it. Don't stop me playing football.
How many times has this guy jumped on a podcast, right, just before we record, go, "Oh, I feel really rough, boys. Oh, so I'll do my best. I'll do it." And then he'll do this.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember the one he was looking like?
Special.
Oh my god, he was finished, bro.
I get on with it. I've been really.
Get on with it. I'll give you that.
Really rough last week.
Do you know what? You could deal with an illness, and I can deal with a hangover. Should we shake on that?
I'll tell you what. Now listen, I've got a lot of admiration for
you. Said it last week. It's all good. You've given me my flowers.
But like when you're a midfield hard man, you got to be up there every game, and unfortunately, Jorginho ain't coming back from that.
So what we saying? Rice, Marino in midfield.
Yeah, I think it will be Rice doing the holding, Marino, and Odegaard.
So Trossard up front. It wasn't a great showing against Brentford, but people. Someone shout out to them because they watch the channel. Someone went to my video from a week ago after the Brentford game to tell me that Trossard was poor and this is why he shouldn't play in the false nine. Literally a week before, he was one of our best players against Everton away from home in the false nine.
He was
poor against Brentford. People are very selective about when certain players do well or not, if it suits a particular agenda. I agree, Trossard was poor against Brentford, but I don't think that's been his kind of his standard level of performance in that position for me. I would rather go there with Marino. I think we need some physicality in the team. I'd rather Rice, Partey, Marino were all on that pitch against Real Madrid. Set pieces, dropping deep, getting tackles in, all of that. So I actually don't really think it's that suited to Trossard this game. But we might not have a choice unless you do Waneri, Sterling.
Waneri would be like, obviously this is Real away we're talking about. This is the dream, not a dream world, but not ideal circumstances. But I mean, if it goes the way we expect, and Real really come out at us and start, hitting the wings, midfielders box crashing, going one full, and causing us problems. I think on the counter, Nwaneri, Martinelli, and Saka is the most threatening front three. But at the same time, Trossard on counters this season has shown, a worth of his own as well. A couple of times from the left, he's putting left-footed balls into the box where we've got goals from a few times this season. So I'm with them. If Partey and Jorginho are out, if Partey's out, even if Jorginho's definitely out, but even if he was fit, I'd put Marino back in.
No, I wouldn't. See, if Jorginho's fit, I would stick Marino up front. I would over playing Trossard.
Nah, it's too Bernab with Jorginho at this age.
If he's cracked a rib, he won't be. I'll be amazed if he's fit. Jorginho, he won't be 100% fit. He might put an injection.
He's cracked. He might just be a bit winded. But do you know why I say Jorginho? Because I think it might be suited to him in terms of passes on the counter attack, but also defending in short spaces. It might be the one game where it kind of suits. I prefer Rice and Marino. I just don't. It's crazy. I've been running the Trossard false nine agenda, but I just don't think he's suited for this particular game. I knew we'd dominate against Real Madrid. Go watch Tactical Insight. Go watch everything I've done in the build-up. I knew we'd dominate Madrid at the Emirates. I never thought we would at the Bernab, let alone at 3-0 up, because we know the job they've got to do. So I think your passes need to be from deep, like a Jorginho, rather than, or should I say, your more technical, shorter players need to be in Jorginho rather than in Trossard for this game, for me.
The thing is, though, James, you can look to have a bit of pace up front, three pacey players up front. They're pushing on. We can attack the space.
Yeah, that's true. So Trossard's a big game player. He does like a big goal in a big game.
One thing I think deserves credit from the Brentford game what I liked a lot actually was the goal. Like it was so refreshing to see us just counter.
Yeah,
Raya, 2 passes, box to box, 2 passes. Raya to Rice, Rice to Partey, back of the net.
Yeah,
it's been so long, I think, since I've seen it like us take advantage like that.
Didn't we score a goal similar to that in recent? We did score a goal recently.
Trossard at Everton scored on the counter. I mean, yeah, it's something we've improved.
That's right. Yeah.
It is something we've improved, which is good to see. Because
not enough. Turkish is right. Not enough. We've not seen
I honestly had us down as one of the worst 4 teams in the league.
You've said that before as well. Yeah, to be fair.
Trossard's one was when we won it back and Sterling run through the.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I think still slightly different, but.
Yeah, it is different. It's different.
Yeah.
The other thing is like having those players out also limits our options from the bench. I think like a game when it's 10, 15 minutes to go, say like for instance, we're still winning 1-0, whatever. Jorginho coming on just to shore it all up and all that would be a big plus for us. You know what I mean? Now we haven't gone. It doesn't look like we have that option. Marino dropping into midfield from attack. Won't have that option where he's he's going to have to be playing midfield all the time, So a couple of options for us on the back of this is not good.
Who do we have? Who do we have potentially on the bench for this game that we could actually see bring on at some point? Ben White probably. Agree, probably Jorginho. I think that's it. Waneri, because he's so talented, but I don't. Unless things have gone really bad for us, I'm not sure the game state that we need to bring Waneri on in.
I don't know, I think Ranieri actually off the bench could be a weapon because if this plays out the way that I hope it plays out, i.e. in the 70th minute onwards, we've still got a lead, but we need an outlet. I think a ball carrier like Ranieri could be something that benefits us massively. Someone that can carry the ball and win fouls high up the pitch. We're going to need someone in that last third of the game. And by third, I mean time, not on the pitch. Well, both actually. And then we're going to need someone that can get the ball from deep and just run with the ball 30, 40 yards and win a free kick. Do you know what I mean? So I think Ranieri, in that his skill set actually, I think is actually perfectly suited to the last part of this game. I think the first part of the game, and a lot of fans I've been speaking to disagree with me on this, but I think the first part of the game is about just the first 30 minutes, if you like, is just have a tight block. I don't think we want to be going attacking, looking for a goal in that first quarter, even first half. I think it's we got a 3-0 lead, right? We don't have to score in the first half. We've just got to not concede, and we know what's going to happen. They're going to put it on us. They're going to put it on us, right? Cool. So we've just got to be in a tight block. We've got to make sure that crosses. I'd be encouraging Madrid to cross the ball because we're very, very good aerially, in my view. We've got a keeper who, for me, bar Courtois, ironically enough, is the best in the world at claiming crosses and handling in the air. So I'd be encouraging them to cross the ball, see if he can break us down. The longer the game goes on with them in the deficit, the more gaps open, the more they push forward, the more risk they take. And then when you get to the 60th, 70th minute, that's when you're like, right, they're tiring and they're taking more risks. People like Ranieri then, I think, have a role to play.
Calafiori's another. I've just realised he should be back.
Was he on the bench?
No, he wasn't on the bench, but there were rumours that he was in training. And it has been a few weeks, as was said, so hopefully he's back. I should think he is someone with his energy and his legs getting up and down. I think he's someone who could play a part. Should play Calafiori.
Yeah.
Listen, they're going to be worked hard.
Ben White's a big worry, boys. Don't you think? Like keeps like not playing a little bit and then not being involved, or is that just maybe just keeping him back for Real Madrid? But I would be one that he would need minutes. I don't know. I'm a bit worried about him.
I understand it. He was on that injury for a long time, and it can happen. I just want him ready for next season. That's how I look at it with Ben. Just ready for next season.
Yeah, I think so. I'm with you, especially with the way Timber's playing. But I still think if we are going to make it past Real Madrid, and obviously it's looking quite good, Ben White's going to have to play a part at some point. And I know it feels really harsh on Jakub Kiwior. Very good against Real Madrid, fair play. He grew into it, got better and better, but I still need to see more. Not in terms of not that performance was great. I mean more in terms of just more games, more of a stretch. Although apparently we're like unbeaten in our last 18 games where Jakub Kivior started.
Who would you start? Sorry, James.
No, I wouldn't. I'm just saying Ben White, I think, is going to have to play some football if we go even further in the Champions League.
But this game, you're saying you stick with Kivior?
Yeah, I think you've got to. I think.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, I was really tempted by the Ben White thing when I thought he was at least going to get some football. The guy he's not played at all. An hour against Everton, 10 minutes against Madrid, didn't come on against Brentford because of an injury. And now this. I don't know.
Kivior has to start. Kivior has to start for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I thought he played well. He was one of the players that played well like yesterday. Yeah. And done all right against Real Madrid, you know what I mean? The team defended well, you know. It was only the changes that messed us up a little bit. Again, down that left-hand side, look, you know, people will go on about it for me. Like I think that Miles Lewis-Skelly's fantastic and all that, but when it comes to, you know, that game there, he's in a different position to when Tierney was playing there, and down the right-hand side, all the space in the world on that left-hand channel, and that is a worry for me. You know, you're 1-0 up. Maybe in the game against Real Madrid, we won't do that. I think we need someone that's going to be confident on the ball. And I suppose it's a different game. It was a different game. You know, I'm looking at it. It's a different game when it against Brentford. But I do look at that. You know, it's not the first time we've been done down that channel.
Were you surprised Martinelli played a full 90? Because I really, really, really was. The work he played on Tuesday and the work he's going to have to put on Wednesday. I think while everything else I kind of understand, I'm a bit apathetic, and I'm like, whatever. So one thing I had a real question mark with Arteta on the weekend was, why did Rice and Martinelli play so much football? That felt really strange to me.
The only thing I can think of it is somebody said, it's not what I said, was they've got the extra day this time, and it's the Wednesday, so the Tuesday. Maybe that
there has been a nice gap. I mean, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are off, and then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So, yeah, but then, yeah, well, well, whatever.
I was very surprised Sterling didn't start.
Yeah, that's on the Martinelli front, yeah.
Especially because he did all right against Everton.
Well, come on, right. Yeah.
All right. Who are you guys most worried about for Madrid?
Go on.
Who are you most worried about for Madrid?
Mikel Arteta.
What do you mean?
I mean, you know, he's got to get his tactics dead right. You know, I don't think you should sit back and defend in this game because you could get done. If you get attacked, you could get. I think this is the game plan has got to be spot on, boys. It was spot on Tuesday in the first game. It's got to be spot on in the second one. It's not it's not just one leg. You've got to do it over two legs, and you've got to. That's what is fascinating about Champions League, because there's different scenarios, different tactics. You know, and you have to be able to do that. George Graham was fantastic at doing that. Yeah. And this is something that Mikel, I think, is good enough to do it. But, you know, it's going to be really, really interesting what tactics that he does bring out there, because I think if you sit there back and defend, you know, the chances are they will score.
I don't know, Lee. I mean, I think you're right. I think you're bang on, Lee, in terms of the most important, well, not the most important person, but a key figure for us is Arteta and how he sets us up. You know, I was saying before the first leg that I really wanted him to be better over two-legged ties, and he managed, and the tactics employed in the first leg were absolutely perfect. They couldn't have gone any better, bar maybe one or two more goals. But I do think that the way to go is to defend. I don't think we can go out there from the get-go and try and go toe-to-toe, because if we go toe-to-toe, even though they're not a great team on great form, I think that if there's gaps, they'll open us up and they'll score. What are our strengths? We're stronger defensively than we are offensively. The only good thing in our favor is that we've got a 3-goal lead, so we don't have to necessarily be great offensively. I think our strengths are defensively. If we can frustrate them, if we can almost kill their soul and spirit, half time, we can't get a look in. We can't. This if we're so tight they can't get through. We break their spirit. I think that's the way to go. I think if we try and go early and try and score a goal, I think we might get stung. Cut now in the edit, Ryan, to Arsenal scoring after 3 minutes, and we go 4-0 up in the tie. But I think personally, defending for the first half anyway, and just preserving the lead.
You need a threat,
that
though.
No, we need that. That's where the attackers he picks come into play. We need an outlet. You can't just bank in for 90 minutes, of course. But I think that the emphasis needs to be on solid, frustrate, nothing gets through, and then get through the game, and then you can open up as the game plays out.
I think Arsenal under Arteta typically get that balance quite right. I think we have in the last year or so got a lot better at wanting to recognise we have a bit of the ball, keeping it for a bit, started to just shuffle the team back, getting a little bit of territory, and I don't know, getting some sort of foothold in the game, and then recognising we're under the cosh and dropping into a shape. I think the 2-2 game with the Etihad before the red card, if you look at that first half, I think we had the balance really good in that game. Anfield, last time we went there, the 1-1, just before Christmas, I think, 2023. We were under the cosh for periods of that game, but then I thought we ended the game, the team most likely to score and get the winner. I think we're a team that can get that balance right. It'll all be about the players understanding on the day, recognizing. It'll be about the leaders, the communication. Ødegaard, Rice, all these players have to pull everyone in when it's, everyone get tight. We're going to have to suffer a little bit here. Let's get through. And then someone that's why the Partey injury could be such a disappointment. Someone will need to get on the ball at some point and say, right, let's just calm this down and string a few passes together. What I do like is I don't think Rice has Partey's guile in midfield. I do think he can still pass and move and sort of keep things ticking. What I do like is if you lose the ball, I like that Rice is there. And what I did struggle with, even though we were great, I struggled with the amount of times we did lose possession against Madrid high up the pitch, and Rice had so far to come back. And he is a one-man machine in there when he's playing as the 6 in terms of cleaning up. I don't mind if they're running at Saliba, Kivior and Rice. And Partey actually defended really well against Real Madrid at home. Let me not take that away from him. I'm talking about the energy and legs to get across. And I actually don't think Mourinho would even go that high up the pitch if he was playing as the left A next to Rice. That's kind of one dynamic I don't mind about it being those two. But I do worry that without Partey there, or even Jorginho, I'm being deadly serious. Who's the guy?
Do you think they play 2 6s, James?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, because I think we'll have so little of the ball that it will basically be 2 in front of the centre-backs. It might even be Ødegaard. Ødegaard might have to drop back, not as a 1 and 6, but playing in his kind of 8, 10, whatever we call it. He might have to be the one that at times drops back and says, let's just get on the ball and keep it moving a bit. And we're also going to be relying on our outlets. Saka and Martinelli, I think, have a big job, not just tracking back and helping. But when we do get the ball forward, their decision-making needs to be good. Can you win us a foul? Can you buy us a minute? If you beat your fullback and suddenly, there's a bit of panic in the stadium. You talk about sort of taking the kind of hope and belief out of them because we defend really well and they're not getting through. But a lot of that work will be done by the Madrid fans going, bloody hell, Saka and Martinelli, every time they get the ball, I feel like they're going to score. I've had that where we've been dominant at the Emirates and we're playing against maybe Tottenham at their best. And you feel like Son was always a threat on the counter. Rashford is always a threat on the counter-attack. I think we need to provide that. But it's all about finding balance. I think Arsenal do get it right most of the time, but it's going to be a really tricky one because there'll be a lot of pressure. Let's not overlook nerves. Let's not overlook the weight of all this.
I was just going to say, guys, how much do you think the Bernab factor will play on our team? Because we've got some players that have, like Rice and Saka, have been to finals and won stuff. But then you've got Lewis Skelly and David Raya and other players that they wouldn't have been in an environment like this, especially with a Real Madrid fan base and team that are 3 down. They're going to be from minute 1 loud on it. Do you know what I mean? How much do you think the Bernabeu will play a role in this game?
They wasn't familiar to last week either, and they turned them over 3-0. So that's what they got to use, the spirit of the last 90, because we dominated. I know it's Bernabeu and it's a different entity, and Real have pulled off magic there many a time. But I think the players have shown, especially considering we don't lose to big teams anymore, like big 6 sides. It's been years. Look at the way we put, like Bayern Munich last year. They edged us. We probably should have done better, but they edged us. So we're generally competitive in games. Couple that up with we haven't conceded more than 3 goals in a long time, since a couple seasons ago. Man City, I think 4-1. I just think that they've shown, like you mentioned Lewis Skelly, for example, he's been one of our most mature players this season. So that's where I get the belief that, like even the Haaland thing with him, I'm not saying Haaland's Real Madrid, but what I'm saying is in that moment, Haaland is the Premier League's best striker overall the last couple of years, and he's going not toe to toe, but chucking it back at him. I think he's well primed, and he's the youngest player that's going to be on the pitch for us, let alone everyone else. I think I think this could be really like not only the 2 goals, but the goal, his part to play in the Brentford goal as well. The sweeping counter-attacking move. He was running on the ball through the midfield. There was no midfield, but across the pitch. Like, this could be, not that he hasn't been he was great in his first season, and he's been good for us this season. But I mean, in terms of taking on that role as the difference maker, because I've been always calling for buying difference makers because we haven't got enough. Saka's been a difference maker for time. Rice, in a different way with his set pieces, a couple of free kicks the other day, that running mid, he's becoming a more consistent difference maker. So yeah, I feel the mentality's there. That's why I'm confident, because I think we score and they don't score 4.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I still think it's 60-40 out in our favour. You know what I mean?
60-40.
Going to be a tough game. Listen, it's 50-50 at 2-0 as far as I'm concerned. This won't be an easy night, boys. It won't be an easy night.
80-20. What are we saying?
I think 80-20, yeah.
I'm more 60-40, I've got to say. Do you know
what? Me and Jordan are the positive ones.
No, it's not being
Jordan.
positive.
And your head's in shame.
Listen, no, I'm planning that we'll be either going to Birmingham or
Paris.
I am thinking that, but there's a little thing in my mind saying, look, this is not over yet. Like, I remember, it's happened before. I remember Barcelona, Liverpool. You know what I mean? Momentum and things like that. It can happen.
If we mess this up, Lee.
Listen, mess it up. It ain't about messing it up, is it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, Real Madrid are capable of beating teams 3-0 at any stage of any competition.
I think that's what people are missing here. Like, there's 2 things. Can Real Madrid score 3 against us? They can. Secondly, though, that's what they need to do. When you know the assignment, the approach is different.
Yeah.
I weirdly think it's more likely they beat us 3-0 now than if we'd won the first leg 2-1. Because I would have gone, they won't score 3. I think, they need, because they only need 1 or 2, and we'll be. They know what they have to do. They absolutely know what they have to do. One thing I do think is I don't think they need to score 3. I think they need to score 4, because I think we'll score there. That's the only thing that's in my mind. That's what makes me feel a little bit more comfortable about it. By the way, I'm not saying we're going to concede 3. I saw us. Luton was 4-3. Yeah, I saw a stat. I think that was the last time we talked on the pod. I might be wrong. Kivio, I don't think is like that stat again that did the rounds. I don't think he's ever lost a game. No, so he hasn't lost in his last 18 starts or something. So
not lost with Saliba. Was that something I heard?
That is this. I think that's the stat. He's never lost when he's played with Saliba. I think you're right. So that looks nice, doesn't it? But I think they know what they've got to do. I mean, there's so much Madrid PR out there. I mean, I can't believe the amount of stuff I've seen on X and stuff about closing the roof and the ultras are doing some big thing or whatever. But you know what? Of course they would. Like, why wouldn't absolutely? They need every percentage to go in their favor. It's a big test.
Last question for me. Sorry, how wary do you think they're going to be of free kicks now? And do you think we've actually played and trained for Saka and the Flirter cutting in to try and get free kicks around that area?
They haven't faced the worst of our set pieces. That's the funny thing.
Yeah,
we scored 2 direct free kicks, but
that's our weakest part of set pieces. Yeah,
they're not great at defending them. I mean, I think Saliba cleared one of Partey's headers off the line.
Yeah, he did.
You know, I think that's another threat. I think they need to be wary of us winning corners, basically.
Yeah,
I do think
I
we could
agree.
dunk on them from there.
I would have thought we would have saw more of that against Brentford though, Jordan, but we didn't. Because it would have been nice to have a few more sighters against Brentford.
Yeah, that's true. Did you hear
He's
that?
good.
Thomas Frank said something like that because I think they're big on set pieces, Brentford as well. I don't know if they are numbers, but in terms of the detail they do, he said that the battle from set pieces was like a real it was like a real tactical battle or something. It went right over my head, but fair enough. I mean, the coaches must be clocking that, so I don't think we look like a particular threat in those situations. But there we go.
Who's the midfield going to be? Because Camavinga's out. So who do they go Modric again?
Chouameni, I think.
Okay.
Well, it's interesting because
Did he play today?
I don't know if they're going to. I think Valverde should be in midfield against us. I think we ran all over them, and they should be getting Valverde, Bellingham, and Chouameni as their as their three. Sorry,
Yeah.
but Modric is terrific, so they might go Valverde at right back, but I think they should go with Vazquez. So I don't know. That's another thing that's going to be interesting. I think they'll definitely get Bellingham up the pitch a little bit more in this next game as well. Try to get him into more goal scoring positions.
They're gonna need to.
He was doing a lot of defensive work against us and struggled.
Cool.
Don't mess this up, boys. Don't mess this up.
Indeed. Prediction table back up. James top, Jordan second. I'm third. Lee's fourth. No change there.
I've not given up James. I've not given up James yet. I'm not. There's still a glimmer. There's still a glimmer.
Listen, I'm the guy who's nervous about being 3-0 up, so I'm not writing anything off Jordan.
James, what are you saying? 12 correct scores up. What are you going for?
I think we're going to lose 2-1 and go through.
Lose 2-1, Jordan. I'm running out of games now, so I've got to go different. I was going to go 2-1 as well.
What, to Real Madrid?
I was, yeah. Okay, let's go. Oh, sorry, I was going to go 2-1. That's messed me up now.
Ad break, people. We'll be back in 4
minutes. Sorry.
Yeah. The goal finished 4 hours ago.
Yeah. You know, like Turkish got to get to Spain.
I know, my ride's outside. Is it 7? Fucking hell.
Actually, the result's just in.
Bear with me. It's a big moment. It's a big moment. I've got to get this right. Hang on. Oh,
it's all right, Jordan. I'm looking for my comment of the day anyway. Carry on. Take your time.
I'm actually this podcast. I'm setting it to come out at 7 a.m. I'm going out at 7 a.m. So comments, I'm gonna be right with you at 7 a.m. So make sure they're good.
All right, I'm gonna go. Shit, I went 2-1. Let's go.
This is extraordinary. Just pick 2 numbers. Just say 2 numbers. Any 2 numbers.
1-1.
1-1.
I don't believe that, but 1-1. Sod it.
That was the second. That's the score I believe the second most. So there we go.
1-1. 2-2. 2-2.
I love that. 2 goals of the Bernab.
Yeah. Let's go for it. Come on, like 1-0 to the Arsenal.
Go on, Lee.
Imagine.
Go on.
Another clean sheet. Can you
Henry-esque. Come on. Let's do it again.
If it ends 0-0, am I allowed to celebrate this one?
Ask Twitter.
You do what you want.
If we lose 1-0, you're allowed to celebrate.
Yeah.
You don't want to know
celebrate
my celebrations if that ends 0-0.
Oh, just quickly though, if it goes penalties, are we concerned about David Raya?
Yes.
Yeah.
They got the better goalkeeper, so they'll be favourites.
He keeps diving so early.
It's mad.
Anyway.
Yova must be in his ear as well, trying to tell him something.
No, that's all in Iñaki Kanya, I think. There's another coach for that.
Is there a goal kick set piece as well? Is there a goal kick?
Probably. But they have throwing coaches these days. I think Liverpool and Klopp were one of the first to get a throwing coach. I think there's rumours of their like being substitution coaches coming in or something.
Kickoff coach, the kickoff coach.
It's like getting more like American football, isn't it?
They definitely practice kickoffs. Of course they do. Yeah. What else? What else can we do?
Diving coach.
A coin thrower coach.
I like the diving coach idea. To be fair, there's an art to it.
Win the toss. Win the toss, coach.
Yeah, win the toss. You got to flick it. It's got to spin 6 times, not 4.
Yeovil comes to stand when the coin toss is going on.
Yeah.
Yes.
With the iPad.
He's looking at him going.
Our football's changed. As soon as there's something happens,
and then it's tails, and he just runs back to the bench.
You know, our football's changed. Like, as soon as anything happens there, they all go back and have a look at their iPads, and they're looking at it. You know what I mean? Like, what's ever happened to the old eye test? You know what I mean? It's completely changed football now. Unreal.
What are we saying? Comments of the day? We all got them?
Oh,
yes,
loads of them, mate.
Yeah. There is quite a few.
Can I kick off? I've got a few I'll rattle through. Just that a lot of people were kind of still basking in the glory of the night before, which was really, really good to read. I love the fact that rival fans seem to even they enjoyed the moment. Lots of Liverpool fans weirdly were like, I support Liverpool, but it was a great moment. Got one here from Gotinelli. Come on. 4 days ago, oh my God, never slept so well. Just when Jordan was winning people round, he announces that he likes Sadiq Khan. I didn't actually say that I like Sadiq Khan, right? I didn't say that. I just said I'm not a driver, so I'm not as angry with him as most people are.
Can I say that is a scandalous comment, okay? I've got a real issue with that comment because you were never winning people over. It was never swinging back the other way. It was never just. I've got a real issue with that one. Got a real.
Well done, James. Well done, James. Well done.
Oh, I don't like that. Sorry, I have to say something.
Wow, Style Bucharest from Jordan. As a Romanian gooner, it was something. Love for the love. So inadvertently, I'm insulting our Romanian subscribers here as well. And the last one I've got here was I celebrated Declan's free kick that hard that broke my crown. Bloody hell.
Bloody hell.
And shout out Muniz, who I bumped into at a club in town last night. Big fan of the pod. And somebody else whose name no, shut up. And somebody else whose name I've forgotten, who a big fan of the podcast as well. So big up all the followers in the nightclubs.
Can I go next? As it's on the Jordan theme from Simmy's World. Anyone else got this? No. Okay.
No.
He's backing you up, Jordan. I actually saw Jordan at the Emirates yesterday. He was at his seat for a chat with the fans at halftime.
Oh, I saw this. Fuck off, James. Let the fuck off, James. You're a prick.
But spent both halves at the bar waiting for a Fanta, playing Bejeweled on his phone, which I've just seen as an iPhone app. I did see him catch the highlights on the screens after while he was leaving. So fair play to the lad. Come on, you go.
A Fanta and Bejeweled.
Fanta.
What a match day.
Well, what a match day experience that would be. I'll have to go with you one time, Jordan.
I actually did see him at the Emirates. Oh, did you?
Yeah, he was there. Loads of people came up to me and said, you see Jordan like, and I'm going, what, he's here?
Also, everyone who sounded like Prime Ozil because of my hangover, yeah. Fuck off.
Was there a few of those, yeah?
One or two for sure. Yeah.
I got. There was a lot of love. Benny from Bristol, Fourever is the best AFTV show without question. Snapper said best footy podcast regarding Arsenal on YouTube. Mohammed said Turkish muting himself, making that recording and then displaying to the lads shows what murders this guy is capable of.
Sneaky.
But I ain't been caught for one yet, mate. So
live on the pod. Right,
that's mine done. Yeah, a few people enjoying when Jordan was muted, and we was all saying it's the best things that he's ever said, and that was quite good. I've got Jordan wasted 30 seconds of my life. There's your comment of the week, Lee. You know what I mean?
Just 30 seconds.
Yeah, probably about that.
I'll take that.
Take that.
You are winning them over. I'm sorry, mate.
Yeah, winning them over.
It used to be an hour.
A big up to everybody that come up to me in the stadium yesterday. You know who you are, saying that you're big fans of the Fourever Arsenal pod. Please keep doing that because it does make me feel good and us all feel good. I love it when people say that. So they make a special effort to come up and say love the pod. So thanks for those guys. You know who you are. Thank you for that.
You say this every week. I'm not even sure it's true anymore. Every week, honestly, by the way.
I'll start videoing them then. Like, I mean, if you don't.
And everyone, all those hundreds of people at the stadium who came up to me. Well, just all the pictures. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, you experienced that on the Friday. You experienced that on the Friday.
By the way, everyone at the stadium we didn't have a match, and everyone at the stadium, by the way.
Yeah.
Big thank you.
You experienced that on Friday night, really? So you know that it does happen, like So
that is true. That is true. I couldn't believe how many people in Liverpool are trying to get photos with you.
And it's a big up to those. I love it when people come up to me about the Fourever Arsenal because it's something that we're very proud of, and also something we've had to graft for. You know what I mean? There was times when we was doing it first off when it wasn't even on YouTube.
Doesn't anyone say that? I love the Invincible podcast.
No,
I'm seriously asking. He's on both, isn't it? So
no one really likes Robbie. You know what I mean? Like, used to be. We'll get a few. I'll get a few for that. But listen, that was something that was always. Can I say with that? That was always going to get good views because Robbie's on it and whatever. This is something that we had to work from nothing, and I feel that is more something to be more proud of. When we have to carry that prick up top, like you know what I mean. So.
Which one?
So Lee ends every Invincible podcast going, and by the way, everyone in the stadium, could you please come up to me and say, tell me love the podcast.
If you're a lover of the Invincibles, come up and start saying it's better than
please
don't
tell me. Yes.
Don't force it now, people. Seriously, don't force it. If you're coming to Madrid, though, let us know in the comments because I'm going to be there. Lee's going to be there, so it'll be good to meet up. I've got a good few people messaging me on Insta for my live saying they're going to be there, so it'll be good to link up with a few of the community, the supporters of the show and the channel and our content.
Jordan, come to Box Park.
When is it? Wednesday. Sorry. I should have thought. You know what?
End it now, Turkish. End it now.
We will. See you later.
Ryan, please do not cut that bit out, please.
Ryan.